as a jungler. Sure, he hasn't played that many games, but that's still, for a rookie, a solid performance. Immediate Azir ban.
Yeah, well, against Coco, you really can't let him have that. He has been the best Azir we've seen in the league. There's a Kalista ban and a Shen ban in response against Shy. Looks like Kube is not going to try to first pick that this time.
No, they're probably just going to try to get Elise, maybe Victor. Remember that Coco is also a great Victor player.
Very
and
true.
Has been so for a long time. I really want to see more of his Twisted Fate, frankly.
Nidalee ban.
Yeah, against Eve, one of the main Nidalee junglers.
And there's the Elise ban too. Do you think there's any possibility of like a Rek'Sai first pick here?
Yes, highly likely, unless the Rise is left up.
Yeah, we have seen Kube play that Rise plenty of times in the past. There's the ban though, so we're not going to see it. So Rek'Sai seems like the way to go here, unless they take the Victor. Yep, there we go.
Okay. Reasonable first pick. You still have Gragas if they take the Rek'Sai away. You still have Lee Sin if you're Eve. Eve, a perfectly fine Lee Sin player. And now the Rek'Sai could be handed over to CJ Entus and likely will be. Question is, what did the CJ go for here? One of the main problems with CJ is they're not a good Gnar team.
Oh no!
Oh god.
It's happening. Fourth game in a row, maybe fourth time is a charm.
This is Shy smiling right there.
Fizz.
I just don't know what the priority on this pick is for CJ Entus.
It's such an early pick. Why? Why?
I don't know.
Lee Braum, they're going to take the Braum away from Mad Life. Probably a good idea. And so 2 more picks over to CJ. You know, CJ's like, it's okay, guys. As long as we don't lose 0-2, it's fine.
I don't get it. Shy is definitely not the best Fizz player in this league.
You don't see the great Fizz Heimerdinger synergy?
Maybe they are going for mind games into banning it in the playoffs. That's the only...
Maybe. But you have to do well for somebody to want to ban it. That's the trick there. It's like, yeah, you can pick it all you want, but if you don't ever win on it or look good on it, they're not going to ban it.
My biggest problem with the early Fizz pick is that, sure, you're going to deter a Maokai pick on the opposite side, but you're pigeonholing yourself into low wave clear in the top lane. And that's going to produce a Sivir pick on the side of CJ. Now, I would be worried about Lucian here from Fury. That's a very legitimate concern.
Yeah, we could see it. I mean, there's always other options in the top lane, too, such as Kube's played a ton of Hecarim. We could see the Mundo, I suppose, as well, too. What do you think?
Could be a Vayne here if they want to go for some late-game scaling.
I would love to see some Tahm Kench, but I don't think we're ever going to see some Tahm Kench.
No.
Not until 5.15. We are still on 5.14 today, by the way, guys. Will be for this week.
Yeah, play the Jax. Do it.
Why not?
Why not? Why not play the Jax?
That's right.
Okay, Riven.
Why not?
Kube,
Why not play the Riven?
Kube's actually shown that he's a pretty decent Riven player.
Yeah. Is this going to maybe be a mid-Fizz? Could be. What do you think about mid-Fizz versus Victor? I feel like you just get poked a lot.
I would think so, but you would have a strong all-in against the Victor. He doesn't have really any way to deal with you once you're on top of him, except for popping that gravity field. Also curious that Shy is not flipped over to Ignite yet, which makes this possibility of a mid-Fizz higher.
Well, I'd like to see the Teemo Riven
play
counter
TF.
pick.
Play TF. TF is really good with this composition.
Play Master Yi. Play Master Yi. Just play it. Hit the button, lock it in. Just lock that in. Lock in that Master Yi. Just knock it right in. Oh, okay, Ari's okay.
Yep, going for the Ari play into Victor. We've seen this with some increasing frequency, just wanting to get the solo kills.
Oh, there's the TF.
Ah, okay, good.
All right. Wonderful.
I like the TF here. The TF makes more sense because you have Annie in the bottom lane. You have a high damage top laner in Fizz to make plays with, and you have enough wave clear to hold your own against the Victor. So opening it up, Coco, a very good TF player, and with it not banned, they will return to that. It's a frequent ban we see on the red side, and Coco's going to be running with the teleport flash Twisted Fate this game.
A teleport Ignite Fizz for Shy as well, too. Interesting. So those, you could almost say triple globals.
Yep. And I would be very scared.
Quadruple global.
I would be very scared if I was Fury, because now there is going to be a Twisted Fate and a Fizz and an Annie with a Sivir ult in my lane with me, and that makes me sad as a Vayne.
Good luck to Fury. And this is not a time where Samsung is really going to feeling comfortable coming into any game, really. They've certainly been suffering lately. And the agony of the Fury could continue here in game number 1. And again, the only outcome that can impact the standings out of this match is if Samsung wins 2-0. All CJ needs to do is take one game, and our top 5 teams, their positions will be locked. So let's see who can take it. Samsung versus CJ. Time to get in the game. All right. It's time, guys. Samsung Galaxy versus CJ Entus here in our second best of 3 of the day here on Champion Summer. And some interesting picks across the board. Shy is saying, you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to play this Fizz. And I'm going to love it.
I don't even know what this TF skin is. I've never seen it.
It's the new one. It's the like Bilgewater TF or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not wearing a hat, though, which really throws me off.
That's weird for his silhouette.
It kind of, yeah. I mean, he almost looks like Karthus with legs a little bit.
I'm really surprised that they made a TF skin without his hat, because that's the easiest way to recognize the character.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
If you could, well, let's brainstorm then. If you could add a hat to this skin, what kind of hat would you add?
Well, it has to be like a big Admiral-style hat, right? Where's the modern Major General Twisted Fate skin?
I think they could just use that like big Dr. Seuss hat that Caitlyn wears. That'd be okay with me. Or maybe one of those beanies with the propeller on top. This could be
Mad Life is trying to see if he can get a flank here with a W. That would be really nice for a level 1.
Oh, boring. They ran away. Oh.
That could have been a really epic stun if they tried to face check that brush, because he from the flank like that, as they were filing through, he's probably going to hit 3 or 4 people. But not going to happen.
Oh, well. In the meantime, looks like we're going to have normal lanes from this game.
Okay. Well, that'll be fine until Coco and Shy hit 6, and then it might be a bit troublesome for the Samsung duo.
Yeah. Shy obviously with a 50% win rate. Ooh, we found something that Kube has a 100% win rate on.
Yeah, he's won 1 game with it.
Impressive. We've seen a lot of 100% win rates broken this season, you know, of course. Faker's Victor. We've seen, what, Corky? Somebody's Corky, I can't remember. But will we see the 100% win rate of Kube's Riven? Finally broken.
The 1-0.
Yep.
Still trading there by Wraith. Wraith, interestingly, even though Luna's been playing a lot more games, he has one of the highest support KDAs in this league. So his numbers, his raw stats, significantly better than Luna's.
He's been a fairly strong player for a while, and he's had his ups and downs on Samsung, but this is still a guy that you'd really think could become a top support at some point.
Oh, that's one of the reasons why he was on SK Telecom for a while. Obviously, that team had interest in his possible growth and their feelings on his ceiling.
SKT really has a history of picking up and then letting go pretty good supports. I mean, we've got Wraith, Peekaboo.
You got 2.
Yeah.
But
it's a history.
I think objectively at the time it was better to keep Mandu than it was to keep Casper, as his ID was then.
Yep.
But they turned the friendly ghost into a very angry Wraith in his next incarnation.
That's right. Well, we had to have a Wraith on Summoner's Rift after the old Wraith was removed. He was designed right out of the game. Stun onto Fury there. Wraith immediately there with the shield. Oh, Fury getting poked really hard by Mad Life.
Yep, well, you have to be careful about that Annie on the Vayne. Stay back, but without that sustain, a lot of the long-range spells from Annie can be quite unpleasant.
He's coming in from behind. Coco could be in a little bit of trouble to get the flash right off the bat.
Just dodging the Q at the end.
Yeah, nice to get the Summoner, though.
Very nice. They'll take it for sure, and they will force Twisted Fate back in the meantime. So Eve gets a little something in that mid lane. Cuvée doing very well so far in the top side. Has the pressure, has picked up a decent CS advantage already.
In that classic Riven versus Fizz lane.
It's been a weird night for top lanes.
It certainly has. It feels very solo queue with the Riven versus Fizz thing, doesn't it?
Especially
like,
the early Fizz.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with this from Shy. I don't really have answers for.
Well, clearly Shy was like, well, I'm on top, so I get first pick, guys. I'm playing Fizz. I called it.
Having a really hard time. And he's going to be building at attack damage in this game.
It looks that way.
But he
Looks
will.
like they did spot Ambition going up there.
Yeah, they're just going to pull back. So a little bit of a slow early game, but that's how CJ wants it. It's going to be all about the bottom lane hitting 6, and then the craziness that ensues from a billion teleports.
Sounds awesome. I mean, yeah, they actually have like quadra globals here.
Yeah, it's scary. CJ could be anywhere. They have Rek'Sai. There's going to be so much split pushing from them in the late game that Cuvé's decision making, should things be even, will be paramount. I mean, he has to deal with Twisted Fate, Rek'Sai, and Fizz split pushing, and he only has that one teleport. So using that teleport poorly could make or break this game, because that's a 5-minute period where CJ can just go into 1-3-1-ing, and there is no response from Samsung.
Now, when these teleports become viable, you know, when we have those level 6s, do you stagger it through a couple different ganks, or do you just go all at once?
Well, it depends. I think it just totally depends on what the pressure on the map is. I think Coco could free himself up to go down. Now, frequently what we see in these teleport TF situations, well, Coco will just TP to the mid turret. This happens in China a lot, the TP mid TF. It's only been played by Jin Air in Korea.
Disappearing in the last week or two here in Korea with that.
Yeah, notably Pawn from EDG likes to do this.
This TF skin really does throw you off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not very recognizable, that's for sure.
Yeah. A dude with big shoulders, long hair, and a coat. That really doesn't narrow it down in League of Legends terms, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Interesting pathing from Ambition. They're trying to just keep this Riven off the minion wave. Doesn't really do
Doesn't
much.
work very well, does it? No.
Especially with the Lee Sin joining in that lane.
See, Crown could be Twisted Fate as well, too, except he has something on his shoulder.
Yes, he does. Something on his shoulder. The only difference, little arm and a cannon.
Yep. So you're saying an arm cannon?
I don't really understand what Victor is supposed to do with the extra arm. I mean,
Well,
I know he
obviously
shoots
carry
like
more
a
things.
Q auto attack out of it, but does he really need it to carry his staff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised he's not using it to carry his staff. He could free up one of his normal hands. Because a hand that comes off of your back and like reaches down over your head is way less convenient. Unless you're like trying to give yourself like a neck massage from behind or something. I bet it's great then. Scalp massage.
His back scratcher.
Yeah. Turns around. Work well.
All right, Coco goes for the Lucidity Boots home guard combo to be in lane faster and maintain pressure. It's usually what we see from Twisted Fate players these days.
You know why they have the big shoulders on the TF skin?
Why?
Is because his shoulders would be bare otherwise, and it gets very hot. The sun is very bright, so you want to prevent your shoulders from being sunburned.
Ah, okay.
It hurts a lot. So you need
especially in Bilgewater, I guess. Is that a sunny place? I don't even know.
Probably.
The water is murky, apparently.
But the sky is clear can be. So you got to protect those shoulders, you know? Most female champions are out of luck, though. A lot of sunburn going on there, I think.
Meanwhile, TF would get a really weird tan because his chest is just going to turn into this big stripe.
That's true.
That is the most awkward tan.
That is very
How
odd.
do you explain that?
I don't know.
Big tan strip down the middle of your chest?
I don't know what you call that. I can't think of a name that doesn't sound ridiculously offensive. I don't know.
I mean, strip tan sounds like something else entirely.
It does. Yeah, it does. And you can't call it something like the, I don't know, like the highway or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The rectangle, that sounds like something that wrestlers fight in. You know? I don't know. I'll have to work on that one. If you have any ideas, Twitter, just let us know.
TF stylish tanning.
That's right. His chest tan lines. It's Riot's fault, though. They're the ones who make us ask these questions.
Well, there's not even a practical garment. Why would you wear a long coat with giant shoulders and then just have the chest open and not wear a shirt? What is the point? It's going to be really warm. It's not a practical coat at all.
Style. It's all about sending a fashion message. Mad Life lurking outside the red buff here, and they know where Eve is. Gets knocked up. And, oh, there's a stun. TF coming in as well, too. There is the Globals. And are they going to get Eve? Yes, they will. First blood goes to Ambition. And that silly coat may be easy to laugh at, but a gold card still hurts just the same.
It does. Eve picking a very unfortunate place to recall from, but a nice invade from Ambition and Mad Life.
You know, really, this skin is more realistic, because how the heck does the hat follow TF when he teleports anyway? You'd think it would just float down to the ground after he disappears.
Well, how come his clothes follow him then? What if he just teleported him as naked on the other end?
They're all on the body? I don't know. That's how the Terminator does it. Just like, I need your gold and your clothes. Really missed the opportunity with the Terminator TF skin. Really, anyone who teleports, I guess. I need your gold, your mobility boots, and your clothes.
I love it.
Very awkward. The SRB rating may change during online play. Oh, they're going to go over the wall. There's a teleport coming in from CJ again, going after Ambition once more. Space a bit low, so they're going to turn onto the bot lane. Fury gets locked up. Wraith does as well. Nice flash from Ambition for the knock-up onto Fury. Fury still in a lot of trouble. Can't get back under turret. There's a kill for Coco. I don't think he should take those close, though.
Well, that was what we were looking for in this game, wasn't it, Noah? Just
pretty much.
The
globals
porting,
are really working, yeah.
The porting into the bottom lane. Interestingly, Shia's had to go for his second Doran's Blade before beginning to construct his Trinity Force. And the Sheen, immediately after picking it up, doing the work for Coco. He gets that kill. And CJ really rolling in an early game. And this is a point where CJ really hasn't been strong this season, early game play. Shy's struggling a little bit, but at least he is staying up when it comes to farm.
Well, it's a unique situation for CJ to be in, too. I mean, this is a comp that we really haven't seen before with so many globals, and they're making them work.
No, I mean, we've seen
with 4 globals?
Jin Air run something similar. I don't know if any of the Jin Air games had the Rek'Sai in it, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying is that we've got 4 in this game.
Yeah, it's significant, and that does result in an exceptional amount of map control early on. Crown here hasn't been able to punish either. Really no damage onto the mid lane tower yet, simply because Coco has been there with the home guard boots, and his control over the wave has been so good.
Getting poked a little bit there, but he's stayed more or less even in CS throughout, and the couple kills that he has certainly puts him ahead. And if they keep this up, at the end of the day, TF can go home and relax with a nice glass of wine. He'll be drinking port, of course.
Is that what he drinks?
I would think so.
Okay. Is he a port? He goes for the fortified wines?
Yep. Why not?
He seems like a tawny port guy. No ruby port. Too sweet.
No. I guess not. I don't know enough about wines to really follow that one up. Sorry. Port is as far as I can really go. No.
Oh, not much action. Waiting for Coco to decide to make another move. Blue buff taken by Crown. And they have some decent wards on the side to make sure they know where this Twisted Fate is. Are they going to make a play onto the blue buff?
Well, they need to make a play onto something soon. I mean, Samsung already falling kind of disturbingly behind this game, and although Cuvée could come back in a team fight.
Cuvée goes for an early QSS.
You're right.
Not only to prevent any kind of TF ganks in the top lane, but also will help him drop the fish if it gets onto him and give him some extra MR. That is an unusual Riven buy. I am not confident that it is a good Riven buy because it is going to make it so that there has to be an extended laning phase for this build to be successful because he's cutting out so much damage.
It does more or less take away the ability for Shy to all-in him, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, he could drop the fish, but
yeah.
I would have thought if he just built damage, he could win the 1v1 with Shy. I don't know this matchup very well.
Well, the thing is, too, is that you need that Riven to kind of get rolling as quick as possible because you need someone to show up in team fights with the teleport and counteract all the aggression CJ is going to bring. So,
yeah, I think this is not a good pickup. Yes, he'll be able to lane safely and keep pushing up. Maybe he can get a tower as a result.
Seems like it's an overly safe thing to do, though.
Yeah, and really delays some of the core items that will allow him to counteract the split pushing that we know is coming in from CJ Entus. When we see a Lich Bane first build on TF, it is a split push TF.
Yeah,
that is what you're dealing with. And if you can't answer that split push because you have...
Well, he's coming in. They're going to try to make a play here. Mad Life in Space running away with that ultimate. There's the exhaust onto Space. Tibbers drop, but it's not going to save the AD carry. TF counters that teleporter, stops it. Nice. Crown chasing Coco back into lane. Stopped him from coming down. Space was already dead anyway, so it's doubtful that Coco could have really done anything.
And remember that the Chaos Storm actually does interrupt Channel's abilities once it's cast. So you can stop TF from porting by ulting him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's why the port didn't come through from Twisted Fate. Nice stop there. Crown finds him.
Samsung's going to find an early turret too, perhaps. Oh, meanwhile, Shy goes in onto Cuvée. The damage coming in. There's a teleport. TF coming up. Oh, cancel. Wow, decided he couldn't catch him.
Yeah, instead, now they're going to go
on to Crown. That's right. Crown could be in a bit of trouble. No, looks like he'll get out okay. Gold card maybe loaded up. Wraith coming in. Mad Life is there, though, with that stun. No flash. He can't get the stun down, though.
Yeah, they decided not to commit. Too many people they saw in the ward coming up through the river on the bottom side. So Cuvée is just going to straight up win that 1v1, and guess what? He didn't even have Ignite. So this build seemingly working well for him with the QSS. Popped in that last fight.
I feel like I saw the ult from Shy go off, too. So
yeah,
it was interesting.
Weird. We need to see that one again.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what happened to precipitate that engagement. But regardless, no tower goes down in the bottom lane space, able to turn the tide.
Sadly, unsurprising to see Shy kind of struggling on this Fizz still, and it's only going to get harder from here on out. The one thing that Shy does have going for him is that he was able to finish his Trinity Force, so he does have a bit more strength there. His teleport is also up, so we'll see what kind of plays he can make. Big CS lead for Space on the bottom lane. Wow. And they're going to come in on this.
Well, with the ganks that have been going on, the fact that Sivir has just been forcing Fury into the turret over and over and over again. No wave clear. Another little bit of damage onto Fury. They're just going to try and zone him off and take the tower right now, and they will succeed in that conveniently right before the dragon spawns.
Yeah, Coco had his Gate of Destiny up, or Gate/Destiny. So he could have come down and joined if he would have desired to.
Yeah, total control over the dragon.
Yeah.
They have some nice pink wards. Coco will take this moment to recall and buy right before the objective comes up. Just picks up a blasting wand, not too much since his last purchase, but wants to be topped up and as strong as possible. Shy still at least maintaining even stats when it comes to farm, despite it being 1v1 by Cuvée.
Yeah, very true. Smite used on the Crown just to kind of scare him away a little bit. Can CJ save this turret? Samsung says, all right, you're going to pressure Baron. We're just going to pressure this turret. But now they're going to turn around. Maybe an opportunity to go for it, as a lot of recalls coming in from CJ, actually. It's a bit surprising. I guess Samsung's not going to try for the Dragon, though.
No, I would not be confident. They take the Scuttle Crab, but they know how fast the Twisted Fate can get there onto the objective. Best to be a little bit cautious in light of that, but Sivir just happily farming right now. Fury already has the Blade of the Ruin King. So hits the first item threshold prior to that of Space. It's hard, it's very difficult for them to actually capitalize. With the TF now with 2 globals up, lots of decisions that could be made, and he will go ahead and take this blue buff. Crown the same on his side of the map. So when are we going to see this play? Infinity Edge now done. CJ in a much better situation to team fight now.
Yeah, and you think this would be a signal to go for this dragon. Looks like they're kind of maneuvering towards it, but Samsung's got some good wards down, so CJ does need to be a little bit careful here. Yeah. Oh, Mad Life, speaking of being careful, that is not how you do it. Crown with an easy kill after the setup from Eve. Nice play there. Mad Life, the dangers of warding presenting themselves.
Well, what do you say? You don't walk into the enemy jungle alone like that when you know that Braum and Vayne are in that bottom lane.
It was dangerous.
And your own mid laner is back and can't respond. So have to go in with ambition again. That's what we've been talking about with CJ, this lack of synergy at these core positions. Now they want this turret. Nice block on the Unbreakable onto the minion wave to prevent it from being cleared out.
Well, gold card on the Wraith, but it's not going to prevent the turret from going down, just some damage.
Well played by Samsung.
You know, I feel like one of Mad Life's most chronic issues is what we just saw, going on these needlessly dangerous warding missions and getting picked. I feel like we've been seeing that for years.
It's mostly just, it's ambition and Mad Life. They have to communicate about that. If Mad Life's going in, it's not an option. CJ will just respond with a dragon as Mad Life spawns. So 2 dragons over to CJ. They still maintain the gold lead.
Well, the ward lets Samsung know that Ambition and Mad Life are coming in. Looks like they're going to rotate down to bottom lane now.
It is a bit worrisome, though, that in spite of CJ running this big-time pick composition, they're actually behind in kills at 20 minutes. That is not a great sign for them.
You know, for CJ, though, I am a lot less worried about that type of thing than I am with another team, just because they're so good at finding ways to win team fights no matter what in the mid and late game. Normally, I'd be really worried, but it's CJ.
Yeah, and they have great pick potential throughout the game. Samsung, not even really with an overwhelming 5v5 advantage, even though they have the Victor and the Vayne. They've opted for a Warrior enchant on Eve's Lee Sin. So they don't really have a front line since they decided to go with the Riven instead of a tank in the top lane. And that means they could have taken something like a Gnar here that probably would have been relatively safe. Choosing not to do that. And with a high damage threat, Shy building into a Frozen Heart now. Here we go.
Going in on Eve. They planned that smite. Gate coming in, and they're going to catch him. Easy kill. Wraith getting a bit close. He may pay for that as well, too. Hopping out. That's right. Kube coming in with the teleport. Space in a lot of trouble. There's a kill for Kube. This Riven could go off. Kube, well, he goes off the map. That's where he goes off. Coco pressed against the wall with that Condemn, and there's a kill now for Fury. Samsung turning this one around. They at least go even in kills.
Yeah, nice turnaround there from Samsung. They catch Coco out as they try to close into Kuve. And with both carries dead, it'll be hard to stop this siege going through. There is no wave clear from CJ. Samsung absolutely correct in pushing up on this turret.
We'll see how much damage they can get done. Shy trying to clear the wave a little bit. It's going to fall to Ambition to do that. About 50% damage done to that tier 2, though.
Yep, nice timing. Samsung takes what they can. Get a favorable trade after kills onto both Space and Coco. Let's take a look at that again. So they get Eve early, but look what they use for this. I mean, so much just piled on right there. Really difficult to kill in that flank, and Kuve just gets there first and kills Space immediately. Tries to flash out of that fight, but now everybody grouped up into Gravity Well. Look, free auto attacks for days from Fury because Coco is stunned into the well, and Fury's good positioning allows him to get a Condemn afterwards.
Stun on a Mad Life, a little bit of damage onto Kuve. Kuve has to back away. Wow, nice crit from Space. You've been crit from Space. That sounds awesome. Well, except for the person who's having it done to them.
Okay, well, that will push Kuve off, and this is one of those problems. Kuve, QSS, Hex Drinker, well, you're not going to be doing much to a Sivir right now.
He's got Boots of Lucidity and Home Guard now.
Yes, once you get a delay.
Shy fires out the fish. Doesn't connect, though. Kind of sad. The Manatee with no friends.
That's Earth. He's also dead. You know, for
a
dead Manatee, he makes so many appearances in the game. Yeah, he was killed by Warwick.
Really?
Yes.
When did that happen?
April Fools in like 2010.
Oh well.
2011.
That
maybe?
was before I started playing the game.
Yeah, he was an April Fool's joke. For those of you who don't know, Earth, he was a champion revealed on April Fools, but then Warwick killed him. That's why there's a Warwick skin. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Gate coming in again. Fury in a lot of trouble. He's separated from the rest of his team. Condemns Shy back, but it's going to be a kill anyway. Meanwhile, Riven takes on the top turret. So they do trade something, and Ambition picks up that one. Would have been nicer if it would have gone to Shy, Coco, Space, really anybody else. Even Mad Life.
Yeah.
Especially Mad Life.
They didn't take an objective off of that while they committed an ult from Coco, so it's not exactly worth it right there for CJ. Global Gold advantage certainly helping out Samsung more. Yeah, as I was saying, Earth was announced as a champion, then killed by Warwick. That's why Warwick has the skin where he's wearing Earth's skin.
Have I ever seen that one? How would I have missed that?
It looks like Warwick, except he's wearing a manatee skin over his head. And so that was ended up being the champion, quote unquote, that they released as Earth. But there's a lot of living Earth in this game, like Corky riding an alive Earth.
Maybe it's actually undead. Maybe they've reanimated it.
Manatee necromancy.
Remanitated it. The Remanitator.
He also changes in size dramatically, depending on whether Corky is riding him or whether Fizz is summoning him.
Further proof that this is not a normal living creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earth could be the greatest threat League of Legends has ever faced.
I blame Victor for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
Why do you blame Victor for
He's
this?
sort of like Dr. Frankenstein, you know?
Yeah, but he doesn't. If it was a robot manatee, then I'd.
How do you know it's not?
It could be. It's so lifelike.
Could be animatronics.
Yeah. You know, not many people know that. Riot used motion capture to provide the animations for all of Earth's things. Amazing, right?
Yeah, they just, you know.
The guy who did Gollum came down. Like, wow, give that man an Oscar.
I was going to say John Goodman, but okay.
Either way. Oh, some friction. As the dragon spawns, and CJ trying to get their third here. Samsung has not been able to pick up the dragon yet this match.
Yeah, pretty important consideration for them that they actually are able to fight this. They will see Cuvée behind the red buff, but Cuvée has done a fine job of split pushing. Rosenheart approaching completion for Shy, but it's worked out. You know, Cuvé's QSS, he got himself to a point, to his credit, where he actually does damage right now and has a QSS.
Yeah, they're going to go for this dragon, and can CJ stop them? CJ, I think, would rather have some turrets right now, and I think that's a smart move. They're going to give it this dragon. They're going to get the tier 1 in mid, and they're going to get some presence over the Baron area as well, theoretically.
Yeah, pulling back, deciding, they make the choice. And with Twisted Fate, it is really important to have that mid lane down. You want people to overextend. And with so many globals, as long as they get some wards in the enemy jungle, that is going to massively magnify the number of plays that they will be able to make. So I agree with that trade. I agree with that trade.
Yeah. Shy pushes up that top lane turret, and CJ, I think they got a lot of nice map control out of that decision. They're still ahead in Dragons.
But now Victor, who doesn't have any mobility spells, has to overextend if he wants to keep up the pressure. So that will be very helpful for future plays. We see Ambition getting some nice wards in. Now the plays that can be made, if they can maybe even get a tunnel or two into the enemy jungle, will be quite nice. And look at this. They may be trying to get a flank here as Sivir pushes Cuvée in the bottom. They could also just dive Cuvée.
They might.
They see 3 people in the mid lane. They should absolutely dive Cuvée.
I think you may be right here.
Yep, just dive Cuvée.
Coco could join too. Cuvée just runs away. They're just going to take the turret.
Okay. Oh. Well, they can't out-split push this. Now they're going to respond with a Baron.
Baron, yeah, but it looks like CJ's going to respond with an inhibitor.
Yeah, I'll see how much CJ can get.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Okay, so Baron being taken right now by Samsung.
Now
they're going to take a while to get it, too. CJ's going to get an inhibitor out of this.
They may get more. They may get a Nexus turret.
I don't think you push beyond this.
No, I think they could
actually, Baron went down so slow, man.
I think they could have pushed beyond that, but they couldn't see it any longer.
Yep.
They did know that it was being done because of Destiny.
Right.
So they saw Samsung going to the Baron. So Samsung now has to be able to split push this out for it to be worthwhile, because if they can't do anything with this Baron, CJ definitely got the advantage there.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So CJ making some very bold objective trades with Samsung here, trading that mid turret for the Dragon, now trading the bottom inhibitor for the Baron.
Yep, and they have Vayne and Riven, so they can split push with Vayne and Riven and try and get that edge onto CJ Entus. But CJ can also respond with Fizz and TF.
Yeah, the lanes aren't exactly pushing in a very threatening way right now for CJ.
Yeah, and again, you can always go back down to that inhibitor later in the game. So
yeah.
CJ, sit back, farm up for the duration of this Baron, and in the long run, that inhibitor could be quite valuable. Just a matter of not getting wrecked during this Baron. And Kuve's all by himself. They are 4-man pushing on the opposite side. I don't think they want to do this.
Okay, they're just going to go for another inhibitor, I guess. Recall's coming in now from Wraith, and they can do a lot of damage, even with those Baron minions.
Samsung doesn't have wave clear. They can't out-push CJ Entus.
I guess so. They're going to try to go into Coco, takes a lot of damage, getting chased by that Chaos Storm, getting lower and lower, manages to barely outrun it. His coattails no doubt singed from that one, though.
Backs off, does just TP to push out that bottom lane. They did push the super minions back to get a tier 2, but it's an even trade in the end.
Yeah, tier 2 for tier 2 and a little bit of damage on that inhibitor turret. Coco gets a blue buff before he goes ahead and recalls, and he's still got his teleport too, so Coco can still be anywhere on the map really at any time.
Yeah, this is really problematic for Samsung.
It's a very bizarre set of circumstances in the game here.
Well, you have the TF, and the big difference is the Sivir. The Sivir wave clear compared to the Vayne is just such a mismatch. And as we look, Fury didn't even go for a static shift this game. He went for Phantom Dancer straight up.
Yeah, you're right.
Great for team fighting, great for dueling, but not great at pushing turrets or clearing waves if you're getting pushed in. The only thing they have is Victor, who, to be fair, is very good at that. But he can only be in one place, so CJ can answer a lot of this pressure. And that's what they're going to do. So at the end of the day, Baron buff is going to run out here without doing much of anything from Samsung. Got him a little bit of gold, but they are going to have to deal with super minions now for potentially the rest of the game, and especially with the Twisted Fate. What a good call from CJ. Because they can constantly backdoor with Lich Bane now. And that is something, now that they've broken the base, Twisted Fate can single-handedly win the game for them if they have an opportunity.
Well, the funny thing is that usually breaking into the base is one of the hardest things there is with a Sivir comp, but CJ managed to get kind of this golden opportunity handed to them. They only had to trade a Baron. And a Baron only lasts a couple minutes, but a downed inhibitor turret lasts a lifetime. They're going to get a tier 2 as well.
That Lich Bane is doing an insane amount of work on the turret. Remember that they have, if they can get onto a tower, they have the Ricochet auto reset for space. They have 2 Sheen items. So if they can just run around the map and out-rotate Samsung, they will take down those turrets really fast.
It's been a very interesting tactical game from CJ. And yet another example of solid late-game decision-making.
Yep, and look at this. Kuve has to be in the bottom side because the super minions are still up, and the dragon's up now too. CJ can simply walk into the river, try and start pressuring that out.
They need to be a little bit careful.
Remember also, that mid lane inhibitor turret is still about 50% HP. It will have healed some.
Crown has that cold card flash Tibbers. It's going to be cleansed immediately by Crown. He's going to turn around, drop that Chaos Storm. John Goodman hits nobody. Fury has to back away though.
John Goodman, rip.
Shine not landing the John Goodman there. They're going to go for the Dragon. They've managed to poke out Samsung maybe enough. They've got the Speed Shrine too. And Dragon Dragon gets taken by Samsung. Are they going to live through this fight, though? Wraith, a very low health champion right now. Despite the shield. Oh, Kue comes in, blows up space, and now they're going to turn this one around. Chaos Storm pushing away CJ. Madlife destroyed as well, too. And they're not done yet. Ambition and Shy on the run. Gate used. Coco just trying to avoid everybody right now. Goodbye, Ambition. There's a knockup. I meant goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, Ambition. Goodbye, Ambition. There we go.
Well, that team fight coming through from Samsung. I mean, CJ tried to go onto it, but honestly, the hero of that fight was Wraith, who blocked an insane amount of Coco's damage with the Unbreakable and stood in the front line to absorb most of everything, actually. And Kuve there shows up big with the Riven play and turns the fight around. Now, Samsung probably can't get an inhibitor right now.
Yeah, Coco
Oh,
getting
it's
closer.
gonna be close. Oh, maybe they
try
can.
for it. Gold card gets blocked by Wraith.
No, it was
on
a
it was
minion.
on Minion. You're right.
A minion.
If it would have hit
Here
Shy
comes
coming in with the
Shy.
flank.
They're going to try and get this.
Home guard Fizz. He throws it out. He catches Crown. There's a John Goodman. He's all over you. Coco takes the kill.
Goodman.
You got Goodman.
No.
Gets him with the John Goodman.
No Baron. Now they're going to move forward.
He's coming in. He wants that.
Chilling Smite onto Fury.
Yep.
Cleanse from the
That's
QSS.
right.
That was
Timbers!
a mistake.
Right after that.
Oh, that is so sad. He used the QSS to remove the slow, but Madlife was there. Didn't even have to flash for it. Timbers.
Carries are gone, and now it's going to be Super Minions versus Super Minions as CJ takes out this inhibitor turret. And they could keep going here. Well, they could take out the other inhibitor. That might be a little bit safer of a plan. No, I don't know about this.
They can take out those turrets really fast.
Rom ultimate used. They catch Eve here. Well, there it goes. John Goodman again onto Eve. And I don't know, man. They're fighting way too long. They have to get out of here. 4 seconds until Crown comes out. They're not even going to get the bottom inhibitor. I think they should have just went for the inhibitor down in bot.
I mean,
called it a day there.
They can take the turrets so fast that I understand why you would make that decision. The Twisted Fate here with that Lich Bane really chunks them out, but Kuve manages to scare them off. 1 inhibitor down for each team, and Baron has spawned. CJ now sprinting over to the pit. Let's take a look at this one again. Watch Wraith here. Unbreakable takes the gold card, but he blocks the wild cards from really doing much of anything. And now Kuve again onto space. He's been playing this Riven very well in the team fight so far. Second time he's gotten that major kill.
Some action around Baron right now as we cut away from that replay just a bit early. Baron was started by Samsung. CJ doesn't want to let them have it this time, though. We have a giant Annie as well, too. Iron Elixir Annie. I like it. How big is that Tibbers going to be? Does Tibbers get bigger if Annie is bigger with Iron Elixir?
Nobody should.
Oh, oh, Rito, please. That's the most disappointing news I've heard all day.
Interesting. Fury now has a black cleaver, which will help Eve and Kuve, considering they've both opted into damage builds here.
Are we back to cleaver fever here?
No, I mean, I can see it on Vayne. I think the Trinity Force is more useful for Vayne, but the black cleaver has higher synergy with the rest of his team, and it's cheaper.
Good amount of money for some of the members of CJ to spend, but they can't do it right now while Samsung threatens this Baron. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, no Last Whisper for Fury either, and the armor items are starting to pile up on the CJ side.
Rek'Sai coming in. And can CJ hold Samsung off? Looks like they can for now.
Samsung doesn't have wards in their jungle, so they won't be punished for breaking apart. And looks like it's just going to be a waiting game for right now. It's very dangerous for either of these teams with low tankiness to commit to a Baron, because they will lose a lot of HP.
Yeah, I mean, the first person who gets caught is going to get destroyed, and your team's not going to last much longer. In theory. Ambition's setting himself up to really be the tank of CJ right now. He's got the Randuins, he's got the Banshee's Veil as well.
Hydra now done for Kuve. He is really scary.
Yeah, 4-1-0 too. Kuve's had a pretty awesome game on this.
Yeah,
Riven.
I don't know about the home guard. I think I liked the distortion enchantment we saw better, because Kuve is very reliant on that flash being up, and that's really been the game changer for him. when it comes to assaulting space in the back line.
It's true. Oh, and Ambition tunnels his way out. Close call, though. Coco with the gold card loaded up, but CJ not going to find anyone over the wall. Looks like. Pretty tense game. Shy is actually pushing down the top lane right now. The inhibitors have to be coming up soon in the mid lane here. Dragon up as well in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of play that Samsung decides to make when both these objectives are up. Instantly cleared ward to a well-timed lens from CJ. Kuve has to go deal with the large minion wave in the bottom side, but that won't be too big of a deal. Continue to deny vision in a very nice way. Vision control around Baron is totally CJ's.
That's the thing, is as we see this game go longer and longer, it really feels like CJ is just simply playing the map a little bit better. Now their inhibitors back in mid. They're going to get, like, what, maybe one wave of super minions against a non-super minion wave for Samsung?
Yeah, it's not going to be very much. Oh,
oh, they popped Righteous Glory, but no follow-up.
Well, CJ playing this right, though. If they want to win the game with this composition, you black out the Baron and you try and make picks, right? You cannot continue to fight these team fights against them. But any member really on Samsung is low and up. There's the Glacial Fissure on the Mad Life.
Mad Life. Mad Life still has that stun, though. They have to be careful. Mad Life could turn this one around. He's got the flash.
Uh-oh.
I'm waiting for that flash.
TP,
Here comes
TP.
Shy. Shy nearly coming into the home guard. Samsung's going to move up the mid lane, though.
This is good for Samsung. They just want to stay grouped.
I guess so.
There's a naked inhibitor right now. If you stay as 5, you're going to be in a good place. You just wasted Shy's teleport.
Coco recalled. He could come down from the frontier. They're going to go after the inhibitor again. Mad Life coming in. He's got that Tibbers. This could get messy. Samsung pushed back into the base. This is a bit awkward. Well,
oh, there's Kuve over the wall.
Yeah, okay, coming in from behind. Shy could be in trouble. He's going to throw in, maybe, gold card onto Wraith. They're going to drop the Tibbers, it looks like. Not quite yet. There it goes. Mad Life running away. They tried to keep Riven from coming in. It's going to be a kill for Crown anyways. Samsung getting a scrappy first kill here. Eve kicks Coco back from out under the turret. Coco's still alive, though. He's got the gold card, but he's got no way to close.
And there's the glory, but there's just nothing they can do. So Samsung keeps their composure. Notice that they stay grouped up in that team fight.
Yeah,
they don't let anybody get picked off on the periphery.
Should get the Dragon, too, here. It'd be a 4v5 gate used. They want to keep track of where everyone is, but of course Samsung is going to go right for that Dragon. Low health members, though. They're going to try to come in onto Baron instead.
Well, they know there's no wards on that Baron. This is a great call from CJ.
I guess so.
Coco just waiting for everybody to get there, and that's a Dragon taken, but I think this Baron will be going over. They are doing it relatively slowly.
Samsung creeping towards the Baron pit, but they're not going to get there until CJ's got it. Ult used by Wraith.
Ambition not getting the Baron buff, but here we go. Sivir ult, they see everybody's low. Can they do something? Coco zipping in from the side.
He's on the hunt, but it looks like Samsung's going to escape for now. Shy can't quite find an angle.
Well, with the Baron buff, they should probably be able to get some of these open inhibitors back.
Well, that's the thing. That's the edge that CJ has right now, is they've got those 2 open inhibitors to target as opposed to the just 1 from Samsung right now.
Shy sent down into the bottom lane to clean this up and prep for an ensuing Dragon, or inhibitor rather, but he doesn't have any mana. I'm not sure how useful he will be without recalling first.
Fizz without mana is not very useful at all. The problem is that he doesn't have teleport right now. Gonna go ahead and recall anyway. That's really all he can do.
Look at these big minion waves. Space getting a ridiculous amount of gold from that.
Yeah.
You can see finally building into a Last Whisper. He delayed that item because there really wasn't a lot of reason to, but Eve getting relatively tanky right now. Kuve with the GA. 6-item Riven coming through from Kuve.
That's not terrifying. I don't know what is.
Space has to be so careful.
Yeah. Really massive farm on both top and mid laner for Samsung as well.
Here we go. They're going to try backdooring.
Yep, well, Coco going after the inhibitor. They've got Shy there as well, too. Pops that gate just to keep track of where everyone is, and this is the danger that CJ presents.
Really nicely done.
They're going to get both of these inhibitors before Samsung even gets there.
That's what happens. Look at the synergy between Shy and Coco on that. 2 Sheens, one in the Lich Bane, one in the Trinity Force, and we see that Shy has a Blade of the Ruined King now, so he has more attack speed, and that's the very real danger, and that's why the trade from CJ earlier in this game, I think, was the right one to make, because now that threat is never going away.
WTF, 2 Sheens.
Yes, 2 Sheens, wrecking your inhibitors.
Pretty much. Now Samsung has to worry about that.
And with the inhibitors down, now they have to lose about just getting straight up backdoored and losing this game. And CJ just wants to avoid fights now. Just give him the run around on the map, get your wards up, continue to make plays like that, and eventually you will just break Samsung.
So it's an interesting game.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one. But I think that all things considered, CJ's shot calling has been quite good, and they've adapted well to an unusual situation.
Yeah, if there's anyone who hasn't been thrown by this situation, it's certainly been CJ. It feels very well rehearsed. You know, they really seem to know where to go at every moment.
I still don't like Shy's Fizz, but...
Well, this is probably the best Fizz we've seen him play just yet.
It's not a big compliment, Doa.
It's something, you know. Trying to stay positive, right?
I have no idea whether he can 1v1 the Riven right now with the Blade done and the Frozen Heart done.
Still, well,
I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that question is.
Maybe. I don't know either.
But it's an important question because that entirely dictates what Shy is going to be able to do in a split push.
True. May find our answer fairly soon. Those two are getting pretty close in the bottom lane. Shy's going to go in. Goes back out. And they do have the Gate of Destiny popped here. Coco just trying to keep an eye on people as he pushes up this mid lane. CJ gradually closing the noose with this 3-1-1 push, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it is. And this is a good situation for them to be in because they're constantly threatening with these super minion waves. Samsung just has their hands full trying to deal with 3 members on the top lane turret while simultaneously defending their Nexus turrets from 2 very devious split pushers in Fizz and Twisted Fate. And they don't have any good wave clear in that lane. They just have a Vayne there. That's not very helpful.
It really seems like neither Shy or Kuve are interested in really seeing if they can 1v1 each other.
I don't think either of them knows the answer to that question either.
Yeah, the way they're acting here. Kuve has that GA too, which may help him out a little bit. Oh, Crown trying to go in onto Coco. That was a dangerous prospect here.
Got some damage down, got the fish out.
Yep.
But they may have actually stalled out the push with that. Coco has to go back, start to get some more HP.
Well, Shy definitely can't 1v1 this Riven without his ultimate. That's for certain. That's a big Rek'Sai.
It is. Coco has the Banshee's Veil. We don't normally see that many defensive items, especially when there's already a Zhonya's on the Twisted Fate. But in this particular case, going pretty defensive on his build. Doesn't want to get one shot by the Riven. And the Victor, obviously, doing quite substantial damage to him. So red buff steal will go down.
Oh, they caught Wraith a little bit. Ambition going in for the knockup. Gets pushed back just a bit here. Kuve coming in from the side. Space getting a lot of good auto attack opportunities. Shy has to back away after getting exhausted, but Wraith getting very low. Can they finish him off? Not quite yet. Nice stun comes in from Mad Life, and that's going to be a dead support. At least Coco comes in with the gold card, just uses it to kill Fury. And here comes Shy as well to double kill for Coco. And that is a big team fight win for CJ, and that is a big game win as well. Kuve barely surviving, but that is it. CJ just finds a good team fight and just wins the game.
Well, they split him up into those skirmishes that they excel at. They kept Kuve off of space in that game, or in that fight, and that's what led to the win. Great map play from CJ off of that early deficit, and they will win game 1.
Wow. CJ just, I think, really played that game well in the mid and late game, which we expect from CJ, but that was a really unique situation. The way they maneuvered TF and Fizz around the map, the way they used their 4 globals to using the back doors, killing the inhibitors, eventually finding the picks they needed to set up that team fight.
Yeah, it looked very poised, and that's how you exploit that situation. You have the four globals, you tested the water on a couple of team fights, you're not confident that you're going to be able to win them, and then you just never fight, really, until you find that very preferential engagement, which they did, where Cuvée was split off. Cuvée did a really good job in that game.
Right. And with that, our top 5 are locked up. Ku in 5th, Najin in 4th. CJ retains